It's a biting cold evening in New York City, the kind of cold that sneaks through every layer of clothing and makes your bones ache. The streets are buzzing with that usual chaos. Honking taxis, people rushing to get somewhere warm, and the faint glow of holiday lights starting to pop up on storefronts. It's late November, and the air smells like snow's about to fall at a grimy bus stop on the edge of Manhattan. There's a guy standing alone, his breath fogging up in front of him. That's Jack. Jack's not your typical New Yorker. He's not striding through the city with a coffee in one hand and a phone in the other full of purpose. No, Jack's standing there, shoulders slumped, looking like the weight of the world's been pressing down on him for years. He's 34, but his face tells a story of someone who's lived a lot longer than that. His dark hair's a little too long, curling at the edges, and his beard is patchy, like he hasn't had the energy to shave in weeks. He's wearing a faded green jacket, the kind you'd find at a thrift store with frayed cuffs and a zipper that only works half the time. In his hand, he's clutching a stack of crumpled job applications, each one a silent rejection. No callbacks, no interviews. Just a pile of paper that feels heavier with every passing day. Jack's life hasn't always been like this. There was a time when he had it all, or at least he thought he did. A small apartment in Queens, a wife named Emily, who laughed at his terrible dad jokes, and a son, Ethan, who'd run to him every evening shouting, "Daddy," like it was the best part of his day. Jack worked as a mechanic back then, fixing cars at a shop down the street. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. He'd come home smelling like oil, and Emily would pretend to complain, but she'd kiss him anyway. Ethan would draw pictures of cars and stick them on the fridge, proud of his dad's work. Those were the good days, the kind you don't realize are precious until they're gone. But life has a way of pulling the rug out from under you. 3 years ago, Emily got sick. It started with a cough that wouldn't go away, then doctor visits, then tests that came back with words Jack didn't want to hear. Cancer. The kind that moves fast and doesn't care about your plans. Jack spent every dime they had on treatments sold. The car took out loans. Anything to keep her with them, but it wasn't enough. Emily slipped away one spring morning, her hand in his, her smile faint, but still there, like she was trying to tell him it'd be okay. Ethan was only 5. Jack still remembers the way his son looked at him at the funeral. Those big brown eyes searching for answers. Jack didn't have. After that, things unraveled fast. Jack tried to keep it together for Ethan, but grief has a way of eating you alive. He started missing shifts at work, then got laid off when the shop downsized. The bills piled up, and the apartment they'd called home became a luxury he couldn't afford. Ethan's grandparents, Emily's parents, stepped in. They lived upstate, had a big house and a stable life. They loved Ethan, and they could give him what Jack couldn't: a bed, a school, a future. Jack didn't fight it when they offered to take him. How could he? He was sleeping in a beat-up van parked in an alley, showering at a gym, when he could scrape together the day pass fee. He told himself it was temporary, that he'd get back on his feet and bring Ethan home. But months turned into years, and every visit to his son felt like a reminder of how far he'd fallen. So here he is standing at this bus stop, the cold biting at his fingertips, those job applications in his hand like a cruel joke. He's applied to every store, warehouse, and diner within walking distance. No experience needed, the ads said, but somehow Jack's 15 years as a mechanic doesn't count for much when you're competing with kids fresh out of college. He's tired, bone deep, tired, the kind that makes you wonder if you'll ever feel anything else. But he's still here, still trying, because giving up would mean letting Ethan down for good. As Jack stands there lost in his thoughts, the bus stop isn't empty for long. A woman steps into the dim circle of light cast by the street lamp. She's dressed sharp, black coat, tailored slacks, heels that click against the pavement, like she's someone important. Her dark hair's pulled back in a neat bun, and she's got a leather briefcase slung over her shoulder. But what catches Jack's eye isn't her polished look. It's the way she's shivering. Her coat's too thin for this weather, and she's hugging herself trying to keep warm. She glances at her watch, then down the street, like she's willing the bus to show up faster. This is Sophia. Sophia's 38. The kind of person who walks into a room and makes everyone else feel underdressed. She's the CEO of Infinity Group, a tech company that's been making waves in the city. Her face has been on magazine covers. Her name dropped in articles about women to watch. She's got a penthouse in Midtown, a driver on call, and a schedule packed with meetings that decide million-dollar deals. But tonight she's just a woman at a bus stop, caught off guard by the cold. Her driver's out sick, her phone's dead, and the company car she usually takes is in the shop. She figured the bus would be quicker than waiting for a cab in this weather. But now she's regretting it. The cold's relentless, and she's not used to feeling this vulnerable. Jack watches her for a moment, not staring, just noticing. He sees the way her shoulders hunch, the way her breath shakes as she exhales. He knows that kind of cold. He's felt it too many nights in his van when the heater sputtered out, and all he had was that green jacket to keep him warm. It's not much, that jacket. It's old-stained, smells faintly of motor oil, no matter how many times he washes it. But it's his, one of the last things he hasn't sold or lost. And right now it's the warmest thing he's got. He hesitates. He's not the kind of guy who talks to strangers, especially not women who look like they belong in a boardroom. But something about her, the way she's trying so hard to act like the cold isn't getting to her, makes him think of Emily. Emily used to do that. Put on a brave face even when she was falling apart, before he can overthink it. Jack shrugs off his jacket, the cold hitting him like a slap. He steps closer, holding it out to her. "Here," he says, his voice rough from disuse. "You look like you need this more than me." Sophia blinks, startled. She looks at him, then at the jacket, like she's not sure she heard him right. Up close, Jack's not what she expected. His clothes are worn, his hands calloused, but his eyes. There's something in them, something kind, something that makes her pause. She's used to people wanting something from her favors, funding a moment of her time. But this guy, this stranger, he's not asking for anything. He's just offering. "I'm okay," she says automatically, because that's what she always says. Sophia doesn't do anything vulnerable, not in public, not ever. But the cold's making her teeth chatter, and the jacket looks warm even if it's seen better days. Jack shakes his head, a small smile tugging at his lips. "No offense, but you're not fooling anyone. Just take it. I'll survive." There's a moment where neither of them moves, like they're both sizing each other up. Then Sophia reaches out her fingers, brushing against his as she takes the jacket. It's heavier than she expected, warm from his body heat, and it smells like a mix of old leather and something faintly mechanical. She slips it on, and it's too big, the sleeve swallowing her hands, but it's like stepping into a hug. For the first time all evening, she stops shivering. "Thanks," she says, and she means it. She looks at him again, really looks at him, this time. "I'm Sophia." "Jack," he says, shoving his hands in his pockets to keep them warm. He's already regretting giving up the jacket, but he doesn't let it show. No big deal, but it is a big deal, even if neither of them knows it yet. That jacket, that moment, it's the start of something neither of them would have seen coming. The bus is late, the cold's not letting up, and for now they're just two strangers sharing a bus stop. But life's funny like that. Sometimes the smallest thing's a jacket, a kind word can set off a chain reaction that changes everything. The bus stop's still a cold, lonely spot with the wind whistling through the gaps in the shelter. Jack's standing there, hands jammed in his pockets, trying to act like giving up his jacket didn't just make him feel like he's standing in a freezer. His breath's coming out in quick puffs, and he's shifting from foot to foot to keep the blood moving. Sophia's a few steps away, wrapped in his oversized green jacket, looking a little out of place, but a lot warmer. The jacket's sleeves hang past her hands, and she's got this half-smile like she's not sure whether to laugh at how ridiculous she looks or thank him again. For a moment, neither of them says anything. The city's noise fills the silence, distant sirens, the rumble of a delivery truck, the faint chatter of people passing by Jack's. Not big on small talk. He's spent too many months alone in his van where the only conversations he has are with himself or the radio. But there's something about Sophia. Something that makes him want to say more than "you're welcome." Maybe it's the way she's looking at him, not with pity or judgment, but with curiosity, like she's trying to figure out who he is. So Sophia says, breaking the ice, "You make a habit of giving your jacket to strangers, or am I just lucky?" Jack chuckles, a low, rusty sound like he hasn't laughed in a while. "Nah, first time. You just looked like you were about to turn into an icicle." Sophia raises an eyebrow, adjusting the jacket so it doesn't slip off her shoulders. "Well, you're not wrong. I'm not built for this weather. I swear I've lived in New York my whole life and I still forget how brutal November gets." Jack nods, glancing down the street for any sign of the bus. "Yeah, it sneaks up on you one day, it's fall the next. You're wondering why you didn't buy a better coat." Sophia laughs, and it's a real laugh, not the polite kind you hear at fancy networking events. She's used to those tight smiles, calculated chuckles, people laughing because they want something from her. But this, standing here with a guy she's never met wearing his beat-up jacket, it feels different. Lighter. For the first time all day, she's not Sophia, the CEO. Not the woman who's got 100 emails waiting and a board meeting tomorrow. She's just Sophia talking to someone who doesn't know her name from a magazine cover. "I'm guessing you don't take the bus much," Jack says, nodding at her briefcase. "That thing looks like it belongs in a boardroom, not a bus stop." Sophia glances at the briefcase, a sleek leather thing that cost more than most people's rent. "Yeah, not my usual scene. My driver's out, phone's dead, and I figured the bus would be faster than freezing while I wait for a cab." Clearly, I'm a genius. Jack smirks. Solid plan. Except for the part where the bus is never on time. Tell me about it, Sophia says, rolling her eyes. So, what's your deal? You waiting for this bus, or you just out here playing hero for random strangers? It's a casual question, but it lands heavier than she means it to. Jack's face shifts just for a second like he's deciding how much to say. He could brush it off, make a joke, keep it light. But something about Sophia, maybe the way she's looking at him like she actually cares about the answer, makes him want to be honest. Not the whole story. Not yet. But enough. I'm just trying to get to a job interview tomorrow, he says, holding up the stack of applications in his hand. The papers are creased, some of the edges torn from being carried around too long. Been dropping these off all over the city. Figured I'd hit one more place before it gets too late. Sophia tilts her head, studying him. What kind of work are you looking for? Anything really, Jack says, and there's a weight to his voice like he's said it too many times. Used to be a mechanic, but things change. Right now, I'd take a stockroom gig dishwashing whatever pays. There's a story there, Sophia can tell. She's good at reading people. It's part of what got her to the top. The way Jack's jaw tightens when he says things change the way his eyes flick away like he's hiding something too heavy to share. It's more than just a guy down on his luck. But she doesn't push. She knows better than to pry when someone is guarding their scars. Mechanic, huh? She says instead, keeping it light. That's cool. I can barely change a tire. My car's basically a mystery box on wheels. Jack cracks a smile, grateful for the dodge. It's not as hard as it looks. Just take practice and a lot of patience. They keep talking the kind of easy back and forth you don't expect with a stranger. Sophia tells him about the time she tried to fix her coffee maker and ended up with a kitchen full of grounds. Jack shares a story about a customer who brought in a car held together by duct tape and prayers. It's nothing deep, just two people passing the time, but there's a warmth to it, like they're both surprised by how natural it feels. What Jack doesn't know, what he couldn't know, is who Sophia really is. To him, she's just a woman who needed a jacket, someone who's easy to talk to, maybe a little out of her element. He doesn't know she's Sophia Thompson, CEO of Infinity Group, a company that's been in the news for its AI breakthroughs and billion-dollar valuations. He doesn't know she's got a corner office with a view of the Hudson, or that her signature on contracts that could buy his van 100 times over. And Sophia. She's not about to tell him. Not because she's hiding it, but because for once it feels good to just be herself, not the title, not the reputation. But Sophia's noticing things about Jack too. The way he carries himself like he's used to taking care of others, even when he's got nothing left to give. The way he talks about those job applications, not with bitterness, but with a quiet determination that makes her think he's been fighting a long time. She's met a lot of people in her career. Politicians, tech moguls, celebrities. But there's something about Jack that sticks with her. He's real in a way most people aren't. No pretense, no agenda. Just a guy who saw her shivering and gave her his jacket. The conversation's cut short when headlights finally appear down the street. The bus, late as always, rumbles toward them, its brakes squealing as it pulls up. Sophia glances at it, then back at Jack, realizing she doesn't want this moment to end. Not yet. She reaches into her briefcase, pulls out a business card, and hands it to him. It's simple, just her name and a phone number. No flashy logo or title. Look, she says. I don't know your whole story, but you seem like a decent guy. If you ever need a hand job, leads anything, give me a call. I know some people. Some. Jack takes the card as surprised. He's not used to people offering help, especially not strangers. He looks at it, then at her, trying to read her. You sure? I mean, you don't even know me. Sophia shrugs, a small smile playing on her lips. Call it a hunch. Besides, you gave me your jacket. Least I can do is return the favor. The bus doors hiss open and Sophia steps toward it, still wearing his jacket. Keep it for now, Jack calls after her. Looks better on you anyway. She laughs, waving as she climbs aboard. I'll get it back to you, promise. The doors close and the bus pulls away, leaving Jack alone again. He tucks the card into his pocket, not sure if he'll ever use it. He's not the type to ask for favors. And besides, he's got enough to worry about, like getting through tomorrow's interview without freezing first. But as he starts the long walk back to his van, he feels a little lighter, like that conversation with Sophia was a small crack in the dark cloud he's been living under. Sophia's sitting in her penthouse, the city skyline glittering through the floor-to-ceiling windows. It's late, way past the time most people would be asleep, but Sophia's never been one for early bedtimes. Her apartment's the kind of place you'd see in a magazine. Sleek furniture, abstract art on the walls. A kitchen that's more for show than cooking. But tonight it feels emptier than usual. She's still wearing Jack's jacket, the one she promised to return but hasn't yet. It's draped over the back of a chair, looking out of place among the polished surfaces and designer decor. She's not sure why she hasn't taken it off and set it aside. Maybe because it's warm. Maybe because it reminds her of that bus stop, of Jack's quiet kindness. Whatever the reason, it's there. And it's about to change everything. She's sipping a glass of wine, scrolling through emails on her laptop when she decides to grab something from the jacket. Maybe she's looking for a clue about Jack, a receipt or a note, something to tell her more about the guy who gave up his only source of warmth for a stranger. She reaches into the pocket, expecting it to be empty, but her fingers brush against something soft, folded and slightly crinkled. She pulls it out, unfolds it, and freezes. It's a drawing. A child's drawing done in crayon on a piece of construction paper that's starting to fade at the edges. It's a picture of a family. 3 stick figures, one tall, one medium, one small, holding hands under a bright yellow sun. The tall figure has a green jacket just like Jack's, and a messy scribble of dark hair. The medium figure has long brown hair and a pink dress. The small one, a boy, is grinning with a red baseball cap. At the bottom, in wobbly, uneven letters, it says, "To Daddy Love, Ethan." Sophia's breath catches. She stares at the drawing, her wine forgotten, her laptop screen dimming. It's not just a picture, it's a window into Jack's life, into a world she didn't know existed. Ethan. A son. And Daddy Jack's a father. The weight of it hits her like a wave, and suddenly the man at the bus stop isn't just a stranger anymore. He's a dad, someone who's carried this drawing around maybe for years. Like it's the most precious thing he owns. The green jacket in the drawing, the same one she's wearing, it's not just a jacket. It's a piece of his story, a tether to a life he's lost. Sophia sets the drawing down carefully like it might break and leans back in her chair. Her mind's racing, piecing together the fragments she's gleaned about Jack. The job applications, the worn-out clothes, the way he said things change with that heavy, guarded look. And now this. A child's drawing tucked away like a secret. She doesn't know the whole story, but she knows enough to feel a pang of something she hasn't felt in years. Connection. Not the kind you get from boardroom handshakes or gala small talk, but something deeper. Something that makes her chest ache. She gets up, walks to the window, and looks out at the city. The lights blur together, and for a moment she's not in her penthouse. She's 12 years old again, sitting in a foster home, shivering in a too thin coat. On a night much like the one at the bus stop, Sophia's past isn't something she talks about, not with her colleagues, not with the reporters who call her a self-made success, but it's there, always lurking in the quiet moments. She was bounced around foster care. After her mom died, her dad long gone. Most of the homes were fine. Some were rough, but none felt like hers. One night, when she was out past curfew, a man, a stranger, a mechanic on his way home from a late shift, saw her shivering on a bench. He didn't say much, just took off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. "Stay warm, kid," he'd said, then walked away. She never saw him again, but she never forgot him. That jacket, that moment. It was a spark, a reminder that kindness existed, that she was worth something. Sophia turns back to the drawing, her eyes stinging. Jack's act of giving her his jacket wasn't just a random gesture. It was a mirror, a reflection of that long ago night when someone did the same for her. She'd built a life since then, clawed her way out of the system, through college, through the cutthroat world of tech, to this penthouse, this title. But somewhere along the way, she'd lost that spark, that belief in simple human goodness. Jack brought it back, and now this drawing, it's like a message, a call to do something. She grabs her phone, pulls up her assistant's number, and types a message. "Find someone for me. Name's Jack. No last name yet. Mid-30s mechanic background. Looking for work in Manhattan. Check job application records. Shelters, anything. Discreetly. I want to know who he is." She hits send, her heart pounding. Sophia's not impulsive. She's calculated, strategic, every move planned. But this feels right, like the universe is nudging her towards something bigger. Over the next few days, Sophia can't stop thinking about Jack. She keeps the drawing on her desk, glancing at it between meetings, letting it ground her. Her assistant comes back with bits and pieces. Jack's last name is Carter. He's been living out of a van. No fixed address, no recent employment records. He's applied to dozens of places, from hardware stores to fast food joints, but no one's biting. The more Sophia learns, the more she feels a mix of admiration and frustration. Admiration for his resilience, for the fact that he's still out there, still trying despite everything. Frustration that the world's let someone like him slip through the cracks. She starts digging deeper on her own this time. She pulls up articles about homelessness in New York, about veterans and workers like Jack who fall on hard times. She reads about the barriers, gaps in resumes, no permanent address, the stigma of starting over. It's not new to her. She's seen it before in the foster system and the friends she lost touch with. But now it's personal. Jack's not a statistic. He's the guy who gave her his jacket, who carries his son's drawing like a lifeline. One night, Sophia's at her office, the Infinity Group headquarters. A sleek building with glass walls and a lobby that screams success. She's supposed to be prepping for a pitch to investors, but her mind's elsewhere. She's got Jack's business card, the one she gave him, burning a hole in her thoughts. She wonders if he'll call, if he's even kept it. Most people wouldn't. Most people would assume it's a polite gesture, not a real offer. But Sophia meant it. She wants to help not just with a job, but with something more: hope, a chance to rebuild. She makes a decision. She calls her HR director and says, "I want to create a position. Entry-level operations support, something hands-on. No degree required, just work ethic and character. I've got someone in mind, but I need to find him first." The director's surprised. Sophia doesn't usually get involved in hiring, but she doesn't question it. Sophia's the boss, and when she wants something, it happens. Now the hard part: finding Jack. New York's a big city, and a guy like him could be anywhere. Sophia's not naive. She knows he might not want help, might not trust it. She's been there, skeptical of handouts, wary of strings attached. But she has to try. She starts by retracing her steps, visiting the bus stop where they met, asking around at nearby shelters and job centers. She doesn't mention Infinity Group, doesn't flash her title. She's just Sophia looking for a guy named Jack who gave her his jacket. It takes a week, but she gets a lead. A guy at a community center recognizes the description. Jack's been coming in to use the computers, filling out applications. He's quiet, keeps to himself, but he's there most mornings. Sophia's heart leaps. She thanks the guy, slips him a donation for the center, and heads back to her office, her mind racing. She's close, so close to finding him, to making this right. It's a gray, chilly morning in New York, the kind where the air feels heavy with the promise of snow. Sophia's standing outside a community center in Manhattan, her breath visible in the cold. She's dressed down today. No power suit, no heels, just jeans, a sweater and a coat that's actually warm enough for the weather. Jack's jacket is folded in her bag, along with Ethan's drawing carefully tucked away. She's nervous, which is rare for her. Sophia Thompson, CEO of Infinity Group, doesn't do nervous. She's faced down boardrooms, investors, and media scrutiny without blinking. But this feels different. This isn't about a deal or a deadline. It's about a person. Someone who's gotten under her skin in a way she never expected. The community center's a modest place with peeling paint and a bulletin board covered in flyers for job fairs and free meals. Sophia's been here before, asking around, following the lead that Jack uses the computers here to apply for jobs. She's not sure what she'll say when she sees him, or if he'll even be here. All she knows is she has to try. She owes him that much, not just for the jacket, but for reminding her what it means to be human, to care about someone without expecting anything in return. Inside, the center's buzzing with quiet activity. People typing at old desktops, a few kids doing homework at a table, a volunteer sorting donated clothes. Sophia scans the room, her heart thudding. And then she sees him. Jack's in the corner, hunched over a computer, his fingers moving slowly on the keyboard. He looks the same as he did at the bus stop. Worn-out jeans, a faded hoodie, that same tired set to his shoulders. But there's something else too. A focus in his eyes, like he's not giving up, even if the world's made it hard to keep going. Sophia takes a deep breath and walks over, her footsteps soft on the linoleum floor. Jack doesn't notice her at first, too focused on the screen where he's filling out another job application. She clears her throat, and he looks up, startled. For a second, he doesn't recognize her out of the bus stop. Context without his jacket. She's just another face. Then his eyes widen. "Sophia," he says, his voice rough, like he's not sure he's seeing right. "What? What are you doing here?" She smiles, trying to keep it light, even though her nerves are buzzing. "Returning your jacket," she says, pulling it out of her bag and setting it on the table. "Told you I would." Jack blinks, caught off guard. He reaches for the jacket, his fingers brushing the familiar fabric. "You didn't have to track me down for that," he says. But there's a warmth in his voice, like he's glad to see her, even if he doesn't know why. "There's something else," Sophia says, her tone shifting softer now. She pulls out the drawing, still folded, and hands it to him. "I found this in the pocket. I didn't mean to snoop, but I thought you'd want it back." Jack's face changes when he sees the drawing. He takes it carefully, like it's made of glass, and unfolds it. Ethan's crayon family stares back at him. Him, Emily. Their son, frozen in a moment when life was good. His throat tightens and he looks away, trying to keep it together. Yeah, he says quietly. Thanks for holding on to it. Sophia watches him, her heart aching. She wants to ask about Ethan, about the story behind the drawing, but she knows it's not the time. Instead, she says, Jack, I meant what I said at the bus stop, about helping. I've got a job opening at my company, Infinity Group. It's not fancy operations. Support, hands-on stuff. The kind of thing you'd be good at. I want you to come in for an interview. Jack's head snaps up, his eyes narrowing. Wait, what? Your company, what's some kind of manager? Sophia hesitates, then decides there's no point hiding it. I'm the CEO, she says, matter of fact. Infinity Group's mine, and I'm not offering you a handout. I'm offering you a chance to show what you can do. Jack stares at her processing CEO, the woman he gave his jacket to, the one he thought was just a regular New Yorker stuck at a bus stop, runs a company he's probably seen in the news. It's too much to take in, and his first instinct is to push back. Look, I appreciate it, but I don't need charity. I'm not some project you need to fix. It's not charity, Sophia says, her voice firm but kind. I've seen your applications, Jack. You're a mechanic with 15 years of experience. Someone who doesn't quit, even when life's kicking you down. That's not nothing. That's the kind of person I want on my team. You're not defined by where you're at right now. You're defined by who you are. Jack's quiet, his hands still clutching the drawing. He wants to believe her, but trust is hard when you've been burned so many times. He thinks of Ethan, of the promise he made to get back on his feet, to be the dad his son deserves. He thinks of Emily, who always believed he was more than his mistakes, and he thinks of Sophia standing here offering him a shot when no one else has. Okay, he says finally, his voice low. I'll do the interview, but no promises. Sophia smiles, relief washing over her. That's all I'm asking. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. My office. I'll send you the address. The next day, Jack shows up at Infinity Group's headquarters, feeling like he's walking into another world. The building's all glass and steel, with a lobby that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. He's wearing the only decent clothes he owns, a button-up shirt he ironed in the community center bathroom, and pants that are a little too big. He's nervous, but he's here, and that's something. Sophia's waiting for him, not in a boardroom, but in a small meeting room with a view of the city. The interview's not what he expects. She doesn't grill him about his resume or ask why he's been out of work. Instead, she asks about his time as a mechanic, what he loved about it and what he's learned from the hard times. Jack's honest, maybe more than he planned to be. He talks about fixing cars, about the satisfaction of making something work again. He talks about losing Emily, about letting Ethan go to give him a better life. It's raw, real, and Sophia listens like every word matters. By the end, she's made up her mind. You're hired, she says. No hesitation. Start Monday. We'll train you, get you up to speed. You're gonna do great. Jack's stunned, just like that. Just like that, Sophia says, I don't care about the gaps in your resume. I care about you. You've got heart, Jack, and that's worth more than any degree. Over the next few months, Jack throws himself into the job. It's not easy learning new systems, working in a corporate world he's never been part of, but he's good at it. He's hands-on, reliable, and the team likes him. He brings a perspective. They don't often see a grounded human touch that makes people listen. Sophia notices, and she starts involving him in bigger projects, asking for his input on how to make the company better. Not just for profits, but for people. Outside of work, Jack and Sophia start spending time together. It's not romantic, not at first, just coffee breaks, lunches, conversations that stretch longer than they mean to. Sophia opens up about her past, about the foster homes, the stranger's jacket that changed her. Jack tells her about Ethan, about the visits upstate, the hope he's starting to feel again. They're two people who've been alone for different reasons, finding something in each other they didn't know they needed. Jack uses his first few paychecks to get a small apartment, nothing fancy but a real home. He starts rebuilding his life piece by piece. He calls Ethan, more plans, longer visits, and one day he brings him to the city. Ethan's 8 now, all energy and questions, and when he sees Jack's new place, he grins like it's a palace. You did it, Daddy, he says. And Jack has to look away so Ethan doesn't see him cry. A year later, things are different. Jack's promoted to a supervisor role, not because of Sophia, but because he's earned it. He's brought a warmth to Infinity Group, a reminder that success isn't just about numbers, it's about people. Sophia's changed too. She's still a powerhouse CEO, but she's softer now, more connected to the world outside her office. She starts a program at Infinity Group to hire people like Jack, those who've been overlooked, who just need a chance. And then one evening, under the same holiday lights that lit up that bus stop, Jack and Sophia are walking through the city. talking like they always do. Only this time Jack stops, takes her hand and says, "You didn't just give me a job, Sophia. You gave me my life back. I don't know how to thank you, but I know I want you in it always." Sophia's heart skips and she knows she feels the same. They don't rush it, but over time their bond grows. 2 years after that bus stop, they're married in a small ceremony with Ethan as the ring bearer, beaming at his dad and his new mom. They build a family not perfect but real, grounded in the kind of love that starts with a single act of kindness. And that's the story, folks. A jacket, a bus stop, a drawing, and 2 people who reminded each other what it means to keep going, to believe in something better. It's proof that the smallest things can change everything, that one moment of goodness can ripple out and rewrite a life or two. What do you think? Would you have taken that interview, or would you have been too skeptical? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. This story's over, but there's plenty more where that came from. Thanks for sticking with me. See you in the next one.